Yes, good? Everything okay? I hope so. Man, that was annoying. OBS like crashed and then wouldn't crash all the way, and I couldn't end the process properly. And I had to restart my whole computer. Hooray. Anyways. I'm just going to cheat and get to the Dropbox document like this. Fun. Yep. Except not fun at all. Alright, so kind of a different setup. I hope you guys can hear me, but we've got a camera here, so you can see kind of everything going on here. Things coming in and out of the oven, which is already happening. Cutting board cam, and then obviously the stove. So all I've done right now, since I was waiting for my computer to restart, I really had to get these bones roasting. So this is just one chicken carcass, just cut and split in half, and then covered with canola oil, and then put back in the oven. The other pan that you see in the oven down there is the cast iron skillet for roasting potatoes later on. So you guys remember all that chicken stock we made last week? That's been strained a bit, and now is reducing on the stove in this strange pot. We will add the roasted chicken bones to that and some more vegetables to complete the sauce. So we'll go ahead and just cut those vegetables now and put them in this guy right here. So I know you guys can't see. Actually, you might be able to see through like this camera, like in the window. It is snowing right now, so that's cool. All right, so onion, bit of carrot. These are washed, not peeled. They're baby sweet carrots, so they have very tender skin. They don't really need to be peeled. I'm gonna go with 2 cloves of garlic. Hopefully everything looks okay. You guys can hear me and everything. That's the problem I was having, is that I was gonna start streaming and then OBS wouldn't pick up the mic, so I had to like, I don't know, sort it out. So right, we're just gonna. It's probably the worst knife in the world to use for those. So this is going to be the second round of vegetables that we introduce into this sauce, because last week we had all the mirepoix and the chicken stock. And this isn't going to cook for a super long time. That's why I'm reducing the sauce right now. So we don't need huge cuts on the vegetables. And it'll get strained a couple of times, so just crushed garlic is fine. Doesn't have to be sliced. Also really like thyme. And since we added quite a few bay leaves before, I'm not going to add any bay leaves in again. I feel like that will concentrate the flavor of the bay leaf too much. Right, so we're just going to set this aside. This is going to be our vegetables for the chicken sauce when the bones are done roasting. So right, what else do we have going on this evening? We have some really nice sweet yellow Dutch potatoes. So these are just little baby potato guys. They roast up really nicely. So what we're going to do is going to roast them first in the oven in a cast iron pan, and then we're going to smash them a little bit and then refry them in the same oil that they were cooked in before. So you get a nice crispy on the outside, tender on the inside kind of thinner, just easily smooshed potato. Quite delicious. And then as far as the wilted greens, we've got a lot going on. We've got, I always like to throw some just regular old lettuce. So this is just red oak lettuce. This is a fully grown top of endive. So it kind of looks like frisee lettuce, but this cooks down really well. And then some flat mustard greens. So those are all going to go kind of one by one, depending on tenderness, into a pan to kind of wilt down into a nice warm vegetable situation. What's up, Kyle? And Kyle's mom. Welcome. Alright. So as you can see, as we cook these, it's going to start to brown off quite nicely. And again, this is what we're going to be roasting this evening. This is a whole crown roast of chicken. So basically, taking the breast off of the carcass, but leaving it on the ribs. So you can see here, all the rib bones are intact. The backbone, the keel bone is still in. And then, so that when roasting this piece of meat, it's going to keep its moisture a bit more readily than a piece of meat without bones in it. And then for dinner for my parents, I'm probably just gonna do some more chicken situation. I'm sure they're not sick of chicken yet. Right. Always remember to wash your hands very thoroughly after touching chicken, obviously. And then we have, right, so remember last week we had really large carrots? Well, these ones are a bit smaller, a bit sweeter, a bit more tender. We are going to peel these for the glazed carrots, but like I said, for the stock and stuff, as long as the skins are clean, they don't necessarily need to be washed. Oh, I should have checked. Never mind. The all-important ingredient. Butter. So basically what we're going to do is we're going to take some of this chicken stock and reserve it for helping to create the glaze on the carrots. So it's basically going to be chicken stock, butter, salt, pepper, and some thyme. So then, as always, as you can see, all this foam, all this gross stuff, it's still coming off the chicken stock. So as it reduces, just keeping an eye on that. So basically, the idea is that we're going to have chicken stock and carrots, and then the rest is going to be reduced into a sauce for the plate. So it's going to be a nice roasted brown meat sauce with those bones and drippings, really. And then we're going to be adding white wine, or oh my god, red wine, a little bit of sherry, herbs. So there's going to be rosemary leaves, thyme leaves, and then the rest of that, the rest of the vegetables will go into that sauce as well. Right. So, anyways, let's get these carrots situated. Again, having a deli tray is really going to clean up the breeze. And just dump this into your recycling, or recycling of vegetables called compost. And then we're going to be cutting. I haven't really decided how we want to cut these yet. I don't know if I want round or not round. White wine. Cam, you're losing it. Right, so how easy is that, right? Let me just take this away. So I usually just keep one of these just kind of hanging out in the kitchen for debris, for cleaning vegetables to, you know, make cleanup a snap. What's up, Jaffas? What's up, Max? How are you guys? Good, I hope. All right, let's check on these little check-ins. So the oven right now, I'm using a gas oven, and it's at 425 degrees Fahrenheit for roasting the chicken bones. You want it pretty hot, so you get a nice like caramelization of the skin and the meat. That'll make your sauce a nice like rich brown color. All right. Yeah. So we want to work with parts of the carrot that are all the same size, right? We don't want these little nubbly end bits. So I'm going to cut these so that all of these cuts will be about the same size. And then kind of sorting them out into sizes. So then we work with the biggest ones first. So these two guys are our biggest ones. And then just rolling it a few degrees and just slicing on an angle. So you have all the same kind of size right there. Let me get a container for those. Don't know where all my containers went. No worries. Somewhat unprepared for this. We'll just go right back on the little deli tray. Just in the corner there. Okay. So you can call this the oblique cut or a roll cut. Either or is pretty well known. So this is the second size. So just turning it a bit more and leaving a bit more space between the cuts so that you get similar sizes to your big ones. These are going to be the little guy. A little bit steeper of an angle so that you get roughly the same size pieces. So we're not going to boil these, we're not going to blanch these, steam these. The only way that they're going to get cooked is gently in a mixture of chicken stock, olive oil, and butter. Forgot the olive oil last time. But I'm a sucker for olive oil. Get out of here. Right. I am making a full meal this evening. Everything can be found right here. If you go to that Dropbox document, you can scroll down to episode 3, and that's what we're doing tonight. Also, good to see you, Lollipop Shop. Hope you're well. What's up, Marley? So, again, always just skimming all that crud off the top of the stock as it reduces. Because, I mean, this is not something that you'd want to eat, right? All that fat and gross just... bleh, bleh, bleh. No, not good. Right. Butter can live over here. Carrot can live in my mouth. Alright, so I don't want to roast the potatoes at 425 degrees because we still have to reduce the sauce, glaze the carrots, all this other stuff. So if I start the potatoes now, because they're so small, they're going to overcook, and the oven's really hot. Way too hot. So as soon as these bones are almost done, which I think they probably should be. You know what? For shits and giggles, we'll just do this. So the wings that I took off of the bird that I just broke down. Throw the wings in there for good measure. They'll be a little less brown by the time everything else is roasted properly, but you know, I probably could have thought about that before. Episode 5 looks delicious. Ah, absolutely. So right, and I'm also looking for ideas for after episode 6. Is cooking my job? Cooking was my job for the past almost 8 years. And will be again. I'm definitely moving back into the kitchen at some point very soon. But yeah, been a professional chef for 8 years now. Well, I say professional chef. I was only a chef for a little while in Seattle. But I've been cooking for that long. And the last restaurant I was at was 3 stars Michelin in Chicago. So I've been doing fine dining for a long time. So yeah, after episode 6, I mean, I have tons of ideas, but I want to cook some things that you guys want. So, message me on Twitch about what you guys want to see. I also can do some pastry stuff. I worked in the pastry departments at Alinea and in San Francisco at a couple places. I'm not amazing at baking, really, but I mean, I can show you guys some stuff, some like maybe easy. Like microwave sponge cake is really good, actually. So, I don't know. Now is just kind of a good time to hang and talk to you guys, since the dumb bones ain't done yet. Yeah. I think the shortest day I ever worked in a kitchen was 13 hours. And the longest was almost a full day. Almost a full day. Got in at 6 a.m. to start prep in the morning, and then didn't leave until 5:45 the next morning. And by leave, I meant we went out and like crushed some energy drinks and then came back to work. Luckily, we only stayed until like 3 that night, so I got home and got some sleep. But so, always skimming the sauce. Always. 13 hours. 3 stars is decent. 3 stars is the best. 3 stars Michelin, at least. That's the top rated. We were rated number 6 restaurant in the world in 2012, and number 7 in 2013. So that's pretty cool. No, it's just, man, when you get to a certain level, of prep lists are like miles long. There's so much to do. Yeah, you get used to it though. You get used to being on your feet the whole day and running around and lifting stuff. I think the lifting stuff really gets to me because the last couple of kitchens that I worked in had stairs. So you're going from like the crawl space basement that has like all your dry ingredients, and you're like loading up a sheet tray and you're like carrying it up like a steep flight of like old Chicago like back stairs. Ugh. Well, okay, so there's Michelin Guide rates on 3 stars, but a lot of um, like food critics. I don't know, like other places rate it out of 5. So we were five stars in like Chicago Magazine, and then 3 stars Michelin, which is pretty cool. I wasn't even there for that long, and like I don't really. It wasn't like, oh, I was there and like totally like crushed it, but I mean, I was there, and I was trying to crush it, but it's just an entirely different level of cooking and just operating like as a person. There's a link to the last place I was at, and then let's see. And this is really the first super nice restaurant that I worked in. Was RN74, San Francisco. I worked there for 2 years. After the really nice Vietnamese place that I was working at closed. They were like a high-end French Vietnamese place. Hey, what's up, Chris? How are you? Almost. If you see things browning kind of unevenly, just a little squirt of canola oil on top. The heat will help it dissipate and disperse over the meat evenly. You can just throw those guys back in. I'm actually gonna we're gonna crank it up to 500 real quick. What's cooking? We're doing a crown roast of chicken with herb glazed vegetables, roast potato, and wilted greens with vinaigrette. Super easy. Super good meal to have because it's like snowing outside, so the greens are nice and warm. Roasted chicken's delicious. Carrots and potatoes, obviously, can't go wrong. What's up, Stralock? I'm really thirsty. I didn't really have a middle game plan for now. Like while all this stuff is reducing and roasting. What's different about this in like a restaurant, I mean, obviously, is that in a restaurant you'd have a list of like 400 other things that I would be doing right now in between like roasting this and reducing this and okay, glaze those, and there's like 1,000 other things to do. But now it's so low key. Play some Daisy. Daisy, is that like a game or? I've never heard of it. Or have I? I guess we can start breaking down these greens, huh? Let's do that. Alright. So these are all going to be going into the same dish, but none of them have the same cooking time as one another. So we're going to have to be careful about where we put these. So we don't want to mix them all up after they're broken down, because they're not going to cook at the same time. So the red oak lettuce and the endive is probably going to cook almost the same time. The lettuce is just going to get wilted in at the very end, because if you cook lettuce too long, obviously it's like soggy and gross. And all right, sorry. So all of this is edible. The outer leaves obviously are going to be a bit less tender, but for our purposes, it's gonna cook just long enough that that everything will be kind of the same tenderness level. So I'm just going to slice these right off of the stems, because the stems, they're not fibrous enough to be chewy like kale or charred stems would be. So I'm just going to slice these a nice, even. Right, and then once you get down to kind of the where everything is a stem, even though, I mean, the stems are a great texture, as long as they're not chewy. Just this little, the little butt of the end can just be discarded. So I'm actually going to put these all in separate bowls if we have them. And since this is actually a little wet, I'm going to run this in a colander and just kind of let it hang in the sink for a little while. Just to get some of that excess moisture to drip away. Since we're going to be adding this directly to olive oil, any water that is present is going to pop, and you may get oil in undesired corners of your kitchen. All right. So and this is just red oak lettuce. What you may find on burgers or in any old salad. So it's just really nice pieces of lettuce. I'm gonna leave these whole. Anything like this, you can see through and tear apart. Where it's a little bit too tender, just get rid of that. So all these look pretty good. So this is going to give a lot of body to the end dish, since we're not going to wilt it very far. Actually, just go back on the deli tray with those. It's that magnetic helmet. Yeah, I was gonna say, it's funny that I couldn't figure out in DayZ how to, cook things. I'm like, man, I should totally be all over this. Alright, so these are flat mustard greens. So this, you can see, has a really big stem in it. That's gonna be too fibrous to eat. So I cut off the tops, and then kind of fold them up, cut them into nice, ribbons. Those are okay, because there's no stem in those. And then cut the greens away. So then this can go away. Throw that in the old deli tray. Do the same kind of thing. Just roll these up lengthwise, make nice. Boop. And something like this, where the stem starts really kind of far down, this is going to be okay. Just kind of feel it out with your fingers. Could I chew through this? Yes, easily. So we'll just cut off the big part of the stem. And when you're buying greens, you always have to think about, especially if you're going to cook them, this, that's going to cook down into half for somebody. So you really need to be cautious about buying enough and probably varied amounts of greens that, you're gonna create a full plate of food for somebody, and not oh, well, sorry, I don't have more, kind of. kind of thing. So then this, breaking greens down like this can be used for anything, as far as cutting the stem away. Chard, any color, kale, any kind. Collard greens definitely have stems that you need to get rid of. So it's a good method to employ there. So then these will just, like I said, this is gonna be added to a pan of just warmed olive oil, just wilted a little bit to kind of bring out a bit more of that green flavor, and then just top with a really simple vinaigrette of fresh shallot, olive oil, lemon juice, tiny bit of sherry vinegar to go with the sauce that we're making for the chicken. Just roll this whole one up. Boop, 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 boop. So any questions so far, as far as what we're doing? Or any questions about what you should look for when buying chickens or greens or, stuff like that? Just a couple more of these guys. What's up, Rich? When was the last time I skimmed? I do need to, don't I? I can see it. I can see it in the monitor. Alright, we're also going to check on those bones real quick. It's really going. I don't know if you guys can hear that over the mic, but can I come over and cook you something? Yeah. You guys could all come over here. I could make dinner. I could probably, I don't know. I've definitely done like 10 people dinners here before for like the holidays. Could do something like that. Can you guys see the smoke pouring out of the vent here? That's actually what you want when you're roasting bones. You want it to be that hot that it kind of renders all that fat away from the skin. I would turn on the fan, but it would make so much noise. They're actually pretty close to being done, so not bad. Big guy. Mom's probably gonna yell at me here in a second. Alright. Oh, if the smoke alarm goes off, I'm gonna be boned. Alright. So that added into everything will be enough. Shoot, I don't have my batch card on me. I always have one of these plastic dough cards stashed around somewhere. Makes cleaning up of your cutting board really easy. I should keep it in my chef coat pocket. Obviously, I'm not saying that you guys should all cook in chef coats, because that's ridiculous, but, you know, if you've got a pocket. Back pockets are always nice to keep peelers and stuff in. Alright, we're going to go ahead and throw these guys in the sauce. We gotta go. nice and brown. See? Nice and roasted. So all this can just go right in. Right into the sauce. Now I'm going to discard all of this fat that's been rendered away. Now this pan is actually still quite hot, so what we're going to do is we're going to toss the red wine directly onto the pan. Actually going to heat this back up a little bit. This is going to deglaze all of these nice, like, roasted, crusty brown bits, which are going to help add a lot of flavor to the sauce. So as the pan heats back up, it'll help remove this easily. Then your pan is clean. Well, easily cleanable. That's why we get rid of all the fat right away. Alright. So it doesn't pop and splatter everywhere. You're coming over for food and more? Alright. Seems fair. Alright, now all these little brown bits have been rescued. All that can go right in. And then because I was a little messy. Thanks, Mom. I knew this was gonna happen. Sorry. Everything okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's just a little smoky up here, so the
Yeah.
alarm was getting ready to go off.
I said that about 5 minutes ago. Yeah, sorry about the smoke. The entire upstairs is full of smoke because of me. Whoops. You can only smell. All right, so then, all right, we can get the potatoes in. All right, we're gonna do this down here actually. All right, so as you can see, we have a very hot pan of oil, right? These have been washed, just washed potatoes, right? No oil. A little bit of olive oil. And a lot of salt. Like a lot of salt. Alright, so the oven has gone down in temperature to 350 Fahrenheit. Also gonna go a nice bit of herb. Right on in there. I'm gonna go with a smashed clove of garlic as well. Just for the flavor. So having that oven really hot already, and having that pan really hot helps the helps those potatoes kind of crisp up on that one side and get really really delicious and crispy. So depending on how they cook down, we may smash potatoes and we might refry them in the oil. I don't know yet. We're gonna have to see. That's something that we'll feel out. If you guys are interested in checking out how we made the chicken stock that we're reducing into sauce right now, oh, where is it? Ah, yes. If you guys haven't already seen it, there's the playlist for cooking thus far. Alright, I'm actually going to move this to this burner so we can kind of see a little better what's going on. So right, after introducing all this new chicken and business, I'm just going to skim away most of the fat and stuff that's coming to the top now. So then I can add my nice yummy vegetables. Again, try not to stir the sauce very much, just so you don't reincorporate any of that, any of the small particulate matter that's lurking around in the bottom. Because as soon as this reduces far enough, we're going to strain it, and then, or as soon as this cooks long enough as far as cooking these vegetables into the sauce, we're going to strain it into a smaller pan and then reduce it very quickly. Now would be a good time. I'm throwing in fresh vinegar, just a little bit, and as that cooks down into the sauce, it's going to kind of balance out any fat that we're going to add in the end, which is going to be butter. It's going to sweeten up a little bit, and just kind of round out the flavor of the sauce. So vinegar is one of those things that I cook with every day, because if you have enough salt, sugar, and vinegar in a component of a dish or in a dish entirely, it's, as long as they're balanced, it's going to taste quite good. Those are things that your palate really loves, especially salt and sweet. But vinegar is the other side of that. So never discount a nice little splash of vinegar. And obviously, the longer you cook vinegar, the more mellow the acidity is going to be. So, things to keep in mind. All right. So this vinaigrette for the greens, we can make that. You can make that days ahead. Vinaigrette's one of those things. I mean, all it is some sort of oil, some sort of acidity, lemon juice, vinegar, whatever you're into, and salt in balance. So I like to add, I mean, you can add whatever you want, but I'm going to add just some fresh chopped shallots to mine, so I can show you guys how I like to break down shallots into a very, very small brunoise. So brunoise, again, is the smaller than small dice situation. All right, make sure your knife is very clean and very sharp. Again, using the steel and matching the exact angle that you've sharpened your blade to. Just gonna knock that burr down. If you ever really want to test, be careful. But if you run your knife along your thumbnail, just very gently, you can feel anywhere that it catches, and that just means a little bit more time on the steel. I really wish I had a really close-up camera for this. But basically what we're doing is slicing this way in very thin, making like little shallot sheets, or shallots, if you will, if you're Gordon Ramsay. Not cutting all the way through, though. You never want to cut all the way through because then it's going to slide around on top, and you're not going to be able to slice thin the other way, as I say that. All right, we're going to try it anyways. So then coming down vertically in the same thickness that you had before, and just slicing all the way through. Then you just turn all that to very, very, very small minced shallots. So you also doing this, be very careful that you don't slice your hands open. That's another good job for the old dough card. Alright, so making sure your knife is debris free. Same thing. Hmm? Yeah, do whatever you want. Yeah, sorry again about the smoke upstairs.
It's pretty thick.
Yeah. Well, when you're roasting bones at 500 degrees, it
Oh, yes.
can happen.
You can see the lead
Do you want to wave to everybody? Just no. You sure? Aw, come on, party poopa.
I'm okay staying back behind the camera.
Okay. Fair enough. Okay. Just a pinch of salt in the sauce to help kind of build that rounded bit of flavor. Would I do Hell's Kitchen? No. Cooking's not a game. Cooking's not a game show. I mean, it's fun to watch, I guess, but I would never put myself through that. Because I like just watching those shows, and they always have like those stupid, like the stupidest challenges, where it's just like, that doesn't make you a good chef to like lift up a bunch of, go carry like weird stuff in from outside all day long. Like that's, I don't know. So I don't think I would participate on a show like that. Alright, grab a little look-see on those potatoes. Just give them a little shake, shake, shake. Kind of get that smashed garlic and the thyme incorporated down in there a little bit better. Yeah, I guess it is kind of weird, Kyle. It's a little weird. Raw carrot's so good. What else? I guess we can start slowly glazing these vegetables in all of the chicken stock that I didn't save for them. Son of a gun. Now we'll still be alright. Alright. Any basic glaze. Heat your pan, medium heat. Medium low, actually. For this amount of carrots, I'm just gonna go with a little bit of butter. You can always add more butter in later, but we're gonna have a little bit of butter in the sauce, and there's gonna be a tiny bit of butter to finish the potatoes. So that goes in. So I have a very OCD habit of folding my towels every time I use them, because it just makes your station look a lot better. Where you have, instead of like this, just sort of, ugh, I cringe every time I see that. So I always refold my towels. We're actually going to take a ladle of chicken sauce. Because this hasn't reduced very far, this is not going to be, it's no big deal. It's really no big deal. It's going to give like a really nice flavor to the carrots. Actually, we'll go ladle and a half. Always start with a little bit of salt. And then you want to just throw your carrots right on in there. Because as this liquid maintains heat and reduces, it's going to cook your carrots. Oh god, that's the worst sound ever. Alright. So that's the way that I glaze carrots, because they're a very dense thing. If these were pre-cooked, like we could blanch these carrots in boiling water really quickly, and then add them to basically a pan just with butter, and kind of the moisture from the vegetables themselves would kind of leach out a little bit, and then create the sauce with that butter. But I like this for carrots. It gives just like a nice. They're super soft, without being overcooked. And man, they just taste so good. I'm also going to add a tiny bit of that shallot that we just chopped into there. For the flavor. And carrots are sweet enough that I'm not really going to add any sugar. I may add just a hit of sherry vinegar at the end, just to kind of balance the fat out in the glaze. But yeah, we'll just watch those come down just a bit. Also, I just realized, am I streaming in like... That's 720. For some reason, my my last video upload from here to Twitch was like 480, 360 or 480p, and I was like, what the heck? Oh my god, why is this already off? A little fresh pepper never hurt anybody. I'm trying to get this off. I want to add a couple of black peppercorns to the sauce, but I don't want, oh my god. I don't want, ground pepper in it, because it makes it kind of muddy looking. Ah, there we go. Wow, it's really on there. So just adding a couple peppercorns to the sauce for some yum yums. I mean, who doesn't like black pepper? Crazy people. I'll put that on just so. Also I love the towels with the green lines on them. Or, I mean, any line that's down the middle, because then you can perfectly fold your towel every time. Oh, OCD, you crazy son-bish. Yeah, I have a lot of people that want to marry me because I cook. It's kind of strange. I mean, I guess it's not strange, but maybe unexpected? Being able to cook is a real hit with the ladies, by the way. Just saying. You can roast a girl a nice quail. Whew. Done. Done deal. Destroying the pickles. Alright. How's this guy? Let that black pepper infuse for just a little while. And we'll reduce it all the way in a smaller vessel. So this guy's getting quite food. Oui. So yeah, anytime your bane of water gets kind of gross, just discard it and start over with a fresh batch of hot water. All right, so let's make this vinaigrette, huh? So, like I said, the basis for any vinaigrette: oil. I want quite a bit. Salad dressing, basically. Salt. Quite a bit. Fat can take a lot of salt, so olive oil loves salt. As do you as a person. What's up, Ryan? How are you? A little fresh cracked pepper. Not too much. You don't want it to be too hot. Because we're using sherry, we're going to go sherry. A little bit of a reduced sherry vinegar. About a third the amount of fat that you put in. So that's a good place. That's a good place to start, at least. Just a touch of shallot. Since it's raw, we want to be a little kind to people's palates, especially if you're serving something like this at a dinner party, where people are going to be talking afterwards. You don't want them to have shallot breath, right? I'm actually going to use a smaller spoon, if I can find one. There we go. So just, mix this together. It's never really going to emulsify because we don't have any emulsifiers like mustard or soy lecithin. So it's going to be a broken vinaigrette, but it's going to be fine because it's just going to go over some nice, delicious greens. That's pretty good. It's pretty good right off the bat. Can take a bit more salt, and the fat comes through really, really heavy in the end. So I'm going to add just a touch more vinegar. The thing about vinaigrette is that you never want to go like afterwards where it's like really acidic. You want it to just kind of coat your mouth It just tastes good. You want it to taste really good. Acidic, yeah, but you don't want it to like hurt. You know, like the back. Kind of, I get it in like the backs of my like under my ears. It like kind of stings for a bit. I don't know if stings is the right word, but something. So you got our carrots just kind of simmering away. Always taste the liquid that you're cooking your food in as well. And just look at the amount of liquid you have left. So like there's a lot of liquid left in this pan, right? The liquid already tastes good. So it's already got some salt to it. It's already got some vinegar to it. And you never want to season the liquid right now. I wouldn't want to season this liquid until it tastes, finished. Because it's going to reduce more and reduce more and reduce more. And the less liquid you have, the more prominent the salt and the vinegar and the fat is going to be. So you just want it to kind of start to taste good as it reduces like this. Sorry about that sound. So just nice gentle heat. This is probably almost ready to strain into a smaller pot so we can reduce it very quickly. Because we don't have all the time in the world, do we? No. So again, just removing the scummy bits. So this vinaigrette, let's get the rest of that mixed in. What's up, Geeky? How are you? I just throw everything in the trash? No. This is my deal with my parents. I get to use their space, but I cook them dinner every week. Delicious. Absolutely delicious. All right. So now we have some shallots and stuff left over. Let's go see what that dog is barking. Hey! Stop. Hey, come here. What are you doing? You gonna be alright, buddy? You gonna be alright? Come here. Come here. Yeah. Alright. Come on. Get out of here. Get out of here. Yeah, sorry, I can't point the camera any farther down than that. It's already on like a big tripod thing. Okay, right. Straining. Sauce pot. Actually, you should never set metal on a wooden cutting board. You never really know what's on the bottom of that metal, and wood is very porous and will potentially keep some of that stuff. And that's not good. So you shouldn't put metal on any cutting board, really, because you never know if the pan handle's hot. You never know if the pan is hot. You never know if you're gonna like warp your cutting board or. All right, so little baby strainer. And just there we go. Be careful, because the steam coming off this is, it's steam. It's very hot. So just careful of your right arm in this situation. All right. So that's all the liquid and the solids. Now we can kind of rip it a little bit. Let's go. And then with something like this, you always just want to taste one every once in a while. See the doneness level. Still got some toothiness to it. But I think if I let this reduce all the way, look at how much liquid we have left. If I let that reduce all the way, I think they'll overcook. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to kind of discard. I'm going to discard some of the liquid, and then just continue from there. So I mean, no harm in that really. So I discarded about a third of the liquid, but because the fat is floated to the top, I'm going to add a little bit more butter back into that, just so you get that nice shiny glaze and deliciousness all over your vegetables. But since we're going to be reducing this sauce really quickly, we have to be very careful about skimming it pretty religiously, or else everything that is going to collect around the back end of the pan, if it's at a pretty steady boil or simmer, every time there's bubbles, it may incorporate the fat and the crud back into your sauce, and that's not something that you want. That's how you get like broken, greasy, disgusting sauces, which is not what I enjoy eating. Getting all fancy? No, man, this is what I cook every night. When I go AFK during a stream to like cook food, this is what I do. Every time. So we'll let that come down for a while. Check on these taters. A little bit more olive oil on top. Potatoes love olive oil. So those are almost done. And we'll let them cool down a bit too. I'm going to use that cast iron pan for roasting the chicken. So we'll let those cool down in some other vessel, and then just when we're ready to serve, just reheat the potatoes in the oven. Cooking music? I don't know what cooking music would be like. I was doing jazz, but the thing is, if I use any songs that I don't own personally, I can't put it on YouTube. So I went against it. I don't know. I've never listened to music in the kitchen. Like, I've never worked in a restaurant that did that, so I don't know either, really. Yeah, what kind of questions do you guys have so far, if there are any? If not, I'll just keep blabbering on about stuff. About stuff. And always remembering to, anytime anything kind of sticks up on the sides of your pan, just making sure that you put it back down into whatever you're cooking. Because if it sticks to the pan, it's probably going to burn, it's not going to taste good. Alright. Carrots are actually just about there. At least the smaller ones are. So I'm going to turn that off. Throw it to the back. Just let the residual heat do its thing. Can I copy Lethal Frag? I mean, I'm just cooking, man. I definitely credit him to being one of the best and the first that did it on Twitch, but I've talked to him about it, actually, so. I asked Frag about this a long time ago. He's just like, go for it, dude. Whatever you want to do. So, Do I feel like I'm copying Frag? No. I feel like I have a very different style of cooking than he does. But, anyways. The main dish is going to be crown roast of chicken breast, wilted greens with vinaigrette, roast potatoes, and glazed carrots. Some pretty standard cooking methods being displayed this evening. Yeah, it's just, I mean, I agree with Smooth. Definitely inspirational. Like, being from the same background as Frag, you don't meet a lot of people that play video games in the kitchen. Like, it's just not something you see a lot. So to kind of put the two together in like a really, like a format like this, it's awesome. I'd never thought about it before. Prep time to table. Because we're making like a roasted chicken sauce, that takes a long time. But you could easily do like a butter sauce from the chicken. Like deglaze the pan with some wine, add a little bit of butter, season it up. That would be perfect as well. So I would say you could make this dish in 40 minutes, easily. Especially if you could do it with any kind of chicken or any meat, really. Same kind of principle. Yeah, well, let's not talk about the whole copying thing. People can think what they want to think, and that's fine. I'm okay with that. Not here to tell people what to think. Okay, anyways. Right, carrots are done. That's done. Potatoes are just about there, probably. So I'm going to... Put them in this. Just dump the old taters right in there. Move this back so we can start roasting some chicken. Alright, let's go potatoes. So there's already oil and salt in the bottom of this pan, and I'm betting you all these herbs made it taste delicious. So we're just going to use the same cast iron pan that we have been, with a little bit of fresh canola oil. I'm going to cook the legs at the same time, just because so there's enough food for the whole family this evening. Just making sure we're trimming off any weird like skin bits. Alright, so the pan's already hot, we don't really need to wait around. A little bit of salt just to get things going, even though there is some in the pan already. Alright. Whenever you're putting something in a pan, always put it away from you. And let that hang out for a sec before the legs go in. Make sure it sits really nicely, nice and flat, so you get a nice crisp on the skin. You can also hold it there just a bit. And the reason I had the paper towels kind of surrounding the chicken earlier was just to make sure that the skin's really dry, so it doesn't just start popping everywhere out of the pan. Sorry, I was just taking care of some chicken refuse business. Alright, and cast iron pans are going to be great for this because they hold their heat really well. So even with this much stuff in the pan on high heat, it's gonna sear nicely. It's gonna get a nice crusty skin on it. So we're actually gonna go right into the oven now. Into the back top of the oven, the hottest part. We're just gonna let that cruise for a little while. Always wipe down some tings. Make it look nice. So I would say at 350 in the oven, the chicken's going to take between 20 and 30 minutes, depending on the temperature. I always remove meat before cooking it an hour beforehand, so that it's all kind of the same room temperature all the way through, so it's not stone cold in the middle. You like the kind of food that you eat? Yeah, I do too. That's usually my favorite kind. Alright, so we're not forgetting about our little carrots. And as these kind of cool down, give them a little stir. Kind of let that nice buttery sauce mixture kind of fall over the carrots and maybe, make them more delicious. Yeah, I think those will be right on. So as far as potato doneness, you want it to feel like you can squish all the way through it, right? But you don't want to feel like there's something stopping you in the middle. Like you can see it looks a little springy. That's gonna be a perfectly cooked potato. If it was overly cooked, it'd feel kind of like mushy instead of dense. It'd feel kind of like mushy as you tested it out. But these are really nice potatoes too. Like I said before, the little Dutch gold ones. I think they're a Yukon, kind of like a Yukon potato but smaller. I don't really know that much about potatoes, to be honest. So, but let's see. Super creamy. Really nice. Just going to finish these off. I think we're just going to go a little bit more olive oil on these. And just keep them like this. They're really nice and bite size. Serve it with a knife and fork. Let people get in there and cut them the way they want. Yeah, it's really good. Go a little bit more. A little bit more olive oil. Tiny bit of salt too. Potatoes love salt. Potatoes, tomatoes, and mushrooms are three foods that love salt. Because we put the potatoes in that really nice, oh man, so hot, in that really hot skillet, the skin is got that nice crunch to it, where it's not gonna get stuck in your teeth. It's actually just gonna, it's gonna be more like a fried potato skin than mushy. Like you have mashed potatoes sometimes, where the cook will fold in the potato skins. They'll just use whole potatoes, not peeled. It's kind of like that. It's the opposite of that, is what I mean. I don't know what I mean. What do I mean, guys? Nether keys. I've heard about that game. People are more than welcome to donate whatever they'd like. I accept all things that are nice. Let me just repeat that. I accept all things that are nice. Just making sure chicken is still sitting nicely in the pan. All that skin is in contact with the skillet. Because that's what makes the chicken... I think roasted chicken is so nice with the skin on, if the skin's crisped up properly. I don't know. I don't think there's a really better way to do it. What else? We're kind of just ready to go. Ready to go. All free things are nice. Yeah. I love when people complain about free stuff. Just like, that's something that you didn't have that now you do have and you didn't do anything for it. Questions, comments, concerns? Everybody hydrated enough? Man, we should make ice cream sometime. Homemade ice cream with like the churn. That'd be fun. Yeah. So what are you guys doing for the holidays? I'm gonna be here. I'm actually on YouTube. I'm gonna be streaming to YouTube on Christmas, the day before Christmas, while we're prepping food, because I don't want to stream for like 5 hours to Twitch and not play a game. So I'm gonna be streaming to YouTube like the entirety of prep for Cornish game hens with cornbread stuffing is kind of the main thing that I'm working on. We're gonna have a couple people making pies. It's gonna be good. My hair's awesome. Thanks, man. I mean, I don't know. It's not awesome, I guess. Alright. What can we do? Well, we're gonna have to start rotating the chicken soon so it cooks evenly. Alright. We don't want the pan to get cold, so always turn back on the heat when you bring it out of the oven. Just medium heat's fine. This is a lot more harsh of a heat than the oven. So you don't want to go too hard, or you're going to burn things. All right, so you can see the color change on here. It's starting to get a little more brown. What do I want to do? All right. So we're going to flip this for now. See how flat that is? So we're going to flip it for now. We're going to leave these down like this, I think. For now. And then we'll keep rotating it so that the heat is kind of coming in and out of the pan into the meat evenly. I will just keep rotating it. And then the last side down will be this, so that it crisps up right before we cut it. Also, I mean, there's 1,000 different methods for crisp chicken skin, I'm sure. The best I've ever found is brining the chicken, so that's a mixture of water, salt, sugar, bunch of herbs, spices, whatever you want to put in it, whatever you want to flavor your dish with. Submerging the chicken in that for, if it's crown roasts like that, 5 hours was probably good saturation time. Pulling those out and then resting them on trays. We used to use, we would use a big walk-in fridge. But up on the very top of the walk-in fridge where the fans were, and just have the fans blowing over the chicken for probably a day and a half, probably. And it would look almost leathery. But man, when that stuff hits the pan, immediately crisps up, roasts out, super brown, super yummy. So if you have a gigantic walk-in fridge at home, that's the way to do chicken. But if you don't, this is not a bad way either. Just make sure that the chicken skin's really nice and dry before you do anything with it. so the sauce is still reducing. Carrots are good. We're pretty much just waiting on chicken to be almost done, and then we're going to start those greens. This is not going to reduce fast enough. I don't think it's going to matter. Alright, we're going to build the sauce a different way. I think we're going to use the cast iron pan when the chicken comes out. We're going to deglaze the pan and then build the sauce in the pan like that. Because this is not going to reduce fast enough. Obviously, that's way more sauce than anybody could ever need in one day. Tastes good. Tastes really good. But that's kind of the process behind building a roasted meat sauce. Make a stock out of some bones. Always pick the meat out of the stock and always eat it because it's delicious. It's like braised whatever it is. Duck, rabbit, veal. Not veal. Veal is a different method. But yeah. Always pick those bones clean because that meat's really yummy. Is this is the one that's having autofocus issues? Yeah. It probably is. It doesn't know what to do. I don't want to touch it though, because last time I did anything, OBS crashed. So I'll go ahead and not. The other ones have saved their autofocus settings from last time, so I'll fix it after the stream. I'll fix. Don't worry, okay? So what else? What are we doing next week? I don't even know what we're doing next week. Leek and potato soup. Oh man, delicious. Absolutely delicious. What is 4 minutes and 33 seconds of uniqueness? It sounds fun. And funny and weird. Normally at this point I would just start washing dishes and things, but you know. I thought I'd actually hang on. Oh. Is it gonna restart this camera? What? Ew. No, great. What's up, Hyde? How are you? Stop streaming. What were you streaming? Something fun? You came at the right time. You're going to see everything just kind of come together. And then we're going to put it on a plate right here. It's going to be delicious. Alright, so remember that those chicken legs were not turned, so we'll go ahead and those guys can probably get flipperooed now. So, good thing to have is a pair of meat tongs, because you can just pick up stuff, you don't have to worry about getting your hands all burned, and they're not as destructive as, like, let's see if I have some, as these. See how, like, sharp and just crazy those are? And, like, doing precise meat movements? Not gonna happen, huh? Alright. So we're back downtown. Into the oven. Ah, Stanley Parable. Very funny game, from what I understand. I've yet to experience it. I saw the demo being streamed a while ago, or something. Was it the demo? It was probably the demo. Thanks for stopping in, then. So, as always, just keep tasting things kind of during different parts of the cooking process. You can see this, the butter and stuff, as this cools down, is getting nice and like sauce consistency. As we heat this up, probably to reheat, we'll just thicken that up. So reduce it a little bit longer. And that'll be how we finish the carrots. I'm actually going to have them cool down all the way over there. Right, so next week. Man. What a good What a good bunch of food for these cold, snowy times, huh? Episode 5 is going to be great, too. I love making fried rice. Absolutely love making fried rice. What's up, Rizzo? How are you? Oh god, Twitter. Twitter is crashing my computer. That's a sad day. Sorry. Just making a little tweet. Tweedly to deet deet. Hi Rizzo. How are you? We're making stuff. We're making foodstuffs. Christmas pudding. Yeah, so anyways, follow on YouTube if you guys haven't already, because I will definitely be streaming Christmas dinner prep on YouTube. From like this. It'll look exactly like this. I may have a mic some of the time, I may not, just depending on who's here and what's going on. Sue. I've never streamed to YouTube before. I did a test stream and it works. It works with OBS and everything, so we'll see. See if we can get that sorted out. The sauce might make it, actually. The sauce might make it. Heck yeah. Hour and 33 minutes. But that's making meat sauce from start to finish. Well, and I guess I broke down the chicken before the stream. Ugh! Alright, it's not that impressive. Alright, Mystical. Take it easy, man. This will be up on YouTube tonight. I'll put all this up on YouTube tonight. And there'll be a VOD of this, so, you know, whatever you missed, check it out. Check it out later. If you're into it. If you're into it. My shoes are making very strange sounds. As I'm, like, spinning around. Don't like. Alright. The only thing about a cast iron, it's very heavy, especially with most of a chicken inside of it. Alright, now is going to be the best time to do this, as this is cooking. Especially over the bottom parts of this. The legs already have a very different flavor. The breasts of the chicken are obviously the more bland bits. So I'm just going to throw some really nice flavor into the chicken breast. A little bit of thyme, fresh thyme. I tend not to use dried herbs that much unless I don't know. We'll throw that right in the middle there. I don't use dried herbs that much in the roasting process. That can go back in. Top of the oven in the back. What's up? What's up, W? How are you? What's up, Mazu? Did any of my YouTube videos get banned for the new copyright thing? No, I don't think so. I haven't gotten any YouTube emails about anything like that yet, so I don't know. I don't know what's gonna happen. Love that sizzle, yeah. What kind of plates do we want to put this stuff on? It's an interesting. The plate I want to use is up here. It's funny. All my parents and I are like I'm 5'9", so I'm not the tallest person, but all these cabinets seem like they're super tall. So, hey. I got it. Don't worry, guys. Actually, there's 3 of us eating. I don't know what I'm doing. Wait. All right. I think I'll be able to show you. So look, usually there's like a crown or like a scon. I don't know what the exact terminology is, but there's like a piece of the ceiling that like drops down before your cupboards start. Our ceiling doesn't have that. Our ceiling doesn't have that, so it's like 6 inches taller than a normal normal situation. What are we making? Crown roasted chicken, glazed carrots, roast potatoes, wilted greens with vinaigrette. Boom! A little roasted chicken sauce going on. Well, trying to go on. It's not reducing as fast as I want it to. It's also not clear. Obviously, I'm doing this in a very like fast method because, you know, normal roasted meat sauce takes hours and hours and hours and hours to make, like overnight usually. And I don't have overnight, so going as quick as possible. With it still tasting nice. Deadass. Oh yeah, I completely forgot you guys could see me scoot up in the corner over there. Whoops. Right. Oh yeah. Those will heat up real nice. Or heat back up real nice. Did I get a haircut? I got a haircut 2 weeks ago. Little head shave. It's this side and this side, but I have long hair on top, so. Hey, what's up, bots? How are you, man? Good to see you. How are you? Yeah, he's not so evil, isn't he? I think he likes to pretend. He likes to pretend. Man, I want the sauce to reduce properly. Like, I want it to... Oh, well, we have to rest the chicken. Okay, so that's the thing that we need to set up for. What am I doing? Like this? Alright, so we're going to set up a resting rack for our chicken. And I'm over here somewhere? Well, for now. Okay, so basically, whenever you're resting meat, you want to have airflow underneath, not just over top, because the whole point of resting meat is to bring it down in temperature gradually and evenly. So if you have something just sitting on a resting rack like this, or just like on a towel somewhere, the bottom isn't going to release any heat, right? So you want it to, like, you know, have a way to get under there. So I'm just using basically like a cookie sheet and like a cookie wrap thing. Same idea for cookies, right? That's how you cool down cookies. What's up, Assassin? For anybody that's new here, there's all of the information that you could ever want about what's going on. We're on episode 3 of that thing. Oh, what's up, Chris? Hello. And a Shannon Zed killer. Welcome. You guys are actually kind of near the end So we're going to be putting everything together soon, which is nice. All right. So I think, yeah, we're gonna go skin side down, get these nice and crispy. And we're gonna go right back in the oven with these. The potatoes are also, let's give them a little bath in the olive oil, huh? A little bit more. And I just needed a tiny bit of salt when I was tasting them, so throw a little salt in there. Just gonna go middle of the oven for that. Oh yeah, how is little Kitty? I see him on stream sometimes, and he looks so damn cute. So damn cute. Alright. So the only thing we really need to think about reheating is going to be the glazed carrots. Resting rack for the chicken can go here. It's also kind of a good idea to, if you have excess paper towels, which we all do because we're a bunch of people that don't care about the environment, just throw a towel down on your resting rack to kind of help soak up any of that greasy stuff you don't really want. And because the chicken is so thick, because it's on the bone and everything, you can rest chicken for many minutes, probably 15 minutes, and you'll be all right. When you slice into it, all that nice residual heat and all those juices is kind of moved back in and kind of redistributed in the meat. So, yeah, 15 minutes. Beef can rest for 15 minutes. Duck doesn't really have to rest for as long. What else? Yeah, so resting meat is always a good idea. Not going right from the pan to slicing it, because then something thermodynamics of meat, I don't really know. I don't know the science behind it. I just know it's a really good idea. Hey, what's up, Sharpie? What's up, a Godzilla? Godzilla. Tasting as we go. Tasting all the deliciousness. Alright, so this is going to be a big dog pan for all those greens that we were playing around with earlier. So basically the idea behind wilted greens like this is going to be like a big warm salad. I'm just doing like the most simple rendition, which is just greens and vinaigrette. You can do, I mean, you could throw anything in there. Cranberries, walnuts, pine nuts. You could do like caramelized onions and kind of incorporate that into the dish. Yeah, Dingo. Let's do it. Let's do it. I think people want some music. I can't play music because I have to upload this to YouTube. So unless I am creating the music, I can't use it. Which is kind of a bummer, but kind of a bummer. What am I cooking? All the food. So mesclun is a green type. I don't know what kind of dressing would have been on it. Parisians have a lot of different things that they like. But mesclun itself is a type of lettuce, unless I'm completely wrong. I'll Google it right now just in case. Yeah, so mesclun is like a mix. It's a type of mix that the French love. I think there's like lamb's breath in there and some baby romaines kind of romaine types. This sauce needs to go. Sauce needs to go. It's gonna be so good. Mescaline? No, it's mescaline. Oh yeah, that's pretty traditional mustard dressing for the French. It's basically shallots, fresh ground mustard, white vinegar. All of that's kind of stirred together, and then you can either add egg yolks. You can add like chopped egg yolks, like cooked, kind of like hard-boiled egg yolks, chopped into the dressing, or you can add one fresh egg yolk into the dressing to get like really nice creamy body to it. We could do that. We could do like a salad day where we like make different dressings for like different salads and like how to jazz up a salad really easily. Let's do that. I'm gonna go edit something real quick. Where? Notepad. Come here, Notepad. Fresh egg yolks. I like fresh egg yolks in salad dressing too. But here, check this out. This is something that's really good on something that's really good on everything. Check out, it's called sauce gribiche. It's pretty much the French, it's another French sauce. It's basically mayonnaise, not that. Never that. Mayonnaise, mustard, a little bit of vinegar, salt, black pepper, chopped eggs, like whole eggs, that have been, each part has been chopped nicely, folded back into that. We used to add like very small dice, like fresh garden vegetables, into that sauce and use it for like chicken croquettes. Is a really good use of that. All right, chicken business. You've got to move. Alright, so the thighs are definitely, for being roasted, they're definitely done. So those can go out. Now the breasts are almost done. So this is what we're going to do. This is a little fancy. I'll get a little fancy on you for a second. Alright. So we're going to baste this chicken with the fat that's already in the pan. That'll help render out any of the fat that's under the skin still. And also give a really nice flavor to the chicken. So you can see this is like nice and crispy, super yummy. Oh heck, you talked me into it. The best secret ingredient. Alright, so we'll just let that butter melt down a little bit. We're gonna let this fat heat up a little bit more. It's not quite there yet. I'm like breaking the stove. What am I doing? What am I doing with my life? There we go. Julia Child was definitely onto something, yeah. Alright, so I'm just letting this fat heat up a bit so it kind of fries the skin as it passes over it instead of not doing that. Put on these little tater tots. Okay, so now what we can do, we can just turn the oven off and just let that residual heat keep the potatoes nice and warm. All right, there you go. So as you throw the fat over the back of the chicken, you see it getting all bubbly. That's what we want. Handle is very warm. You can also see the color is changing a bit. It's getting a bit more browned. That's due to the butter browning and also the meat, or the skin rather, cooking down a bit more. So this technique is, again, called basting. And you want to make sure that you have enough fat so that every time you get a decent spoonful of it. And just start out really slow. Like if you're going to try it at home, just start out really slow and deliberately. Like it's all about muscle memory at this point. Like making sure that you're not flipping the fat like into the back of the stove and causing grease fires. So you can see the skin getting like really kind of puffy and fried up like that. That's exactly what we want. So after a while, once you feel comfortable, you can get a bit faster with it. But that's going to do it. That is completely cooked chicken, deliciously basted, all that stuff. So taking our little meat dudes right off onto the resting rack. Boom. So we'll let this cool down somewhere over here. So you just want to get rid of all that fat in the pan, however you best, however you want. I tend to just throw mine outside, but all right. I can still hear the chicken just kind of bubbling away in the pan as well. So there we go. That's what we're looking at as far as chicken goes. Crispy, nice and roasty, toasty. Alright, so we have some crud just kind of floating to the top of our sauce. Get out of here. Get out of there. Right. Wilting the greens. Done over very medium heat. Very medium. Like, if you have a 5, put it at 5. When am I coming to England? I don't know. I would love to, obviously. I would absolutely love to. Alright, we're just going to reheat the carrots in the loose glaze that we have already. And as that cooks down, to reheat the carrots, it'll thicken up a little bit due to all that butter and yumminess. This also needs a little bit of salt. Mail it to people? Yeah, we should sort that out, for sure. Yummy, yummy, yummy. Right, again. So we have the vinaigrette built for our greens. So once the greens come out of here, they'll be tossed in the vinaigrette while it's still warm. I'm probably just going to plate out of that pan, to be honest. So this is just sherry vinegar, olive oil, 1/3 sherry, 2/3 olive oil, salt, shallots, black pepper. That's all it is. Super simple. And the greens again. This is still in the thing because it was. Yeah, now they're dry. So we have endive, like full fresh endive leaves, or well, the top of the endive really. It's like a big frisee, if you will. Butter lettuce, or red oak. This is just gonna be thrown in at the very end to give like a nice kind of height to everything. The very, very big, nice leaves. Tastes nice when it's warm, not when it's overcooked. So that's going in very, very last. And then the first thing that's going to go in are these long, flat mustard greens. Because they will take the longest amount of time to cook. Alright, so let's get this going. Burp. Olive oil. Want a nice even coating on the bottom of the pan. Yeah, just olive oil. I was going to throw a smidge of butter, but I don't think so. Alright, now you shouldn't hear a lot of sizzling and popping with the mustard greens because they're very dry and the heat's very gentle at the moment. And after something cold goes into the pan, you want to ramp up the temperature just a little bit so that the temperature stabilizes, you know. Especially with meat and things. As soon as you put that big chunk of room temperature meat in the pan, all the energy in the pan is going into the piece of meat, right? So you want to crank that heat just a little bit for a little while until the temperature stabilizes a bit. All right. Start seasoning things right away. This will help kind of open up the greens, break them down a little bit, and get them cooking. A little fresh olive oil on top. Fresh cracked black pepper. And we're gonna do we're gonna do that process for each one of the greens. So if you guys have questions about what I'm making, check out that Dropbox document. Episode 3. So it tells you everything that's going into the dishes, and if you watch back the VODs, you'll learn how to make all that stuff. All right, you just hear gentle popping now. That's the actual greens kind of breaking down and letting out some of their wonderful green juices. We'll go with that. More garlics. What happened? What happened, you? Oh, is it the... Yeah. Nice gentle heat. Yep. So you can do... We'll do roasted garlic. We'll go over... for the fried rice, actually, I think I want to do something with roasted garlic, if I'm not already. Roasted garlic and Asian food go hand in hand. So nice. So, episode 5. I think I'm going to turn the clove of garlic into roasted garlic. So we'll do roasted garlic fried rice. I'm going to be... The day before, I'm going to be putting up a video about how to cook rice. Because the best fried rice is day old. So you just hear this popping away gently. Starting to smell real nice. And you could easily throw roasted garlic or fresh garlic into that. There's garlic going on other places in the dish that I don't know. I don't really feel it necessary. All right, so these have started to cook down, right? Still nicely glazed in oil. Bit of fresh olive oil, and then we're gonna go right in with these guys. Now these can cook together for a little while, right? I mean, you see the volume here? We're definitely trying to make wilted greens, not like semi-warm salad. So these can just kind of hang out a bit. Always olive oil, always salt. Two of the most important ingredients, really, ever. When I was in culinary school, I had to write an essay about what I thought the most important ingredient in the world was. And I wrote about salt. And everyone else was like, oh, I think it's chicken. It's not chicken. Have you ever had a non-seasoned like piece of chicken, like with no salt on it at all? Have you ever had that? It's disgusting. All right, so carrots are pretty warm. The glaze is thickened up. See that? Nice and glazy. The oven's still warm from when we were roasting everything. I'm gonna pull the sauce forward just so it's more accessible. The sauce that I have producing is a roasted chicken sauce. So, last week we made chicken stock, fresh chicken stock. Today I roasted off chicken bones and strained out the stock, incorporated everything together, and then it's been reducing for a while. Yeah, I've talked to a few people about this, and this is totally cool for Twitch. The only thing... Yeah, as long as it's along their guidelines, they're okay with everything. So, since like 90% of my channel is gaming all week, they're cool with this. I've made sure I'm not going to get shut down. But as far as the Christmas dinner prep stream, that's going to be on YouTube, because that's going to be like a whole day. A whole day. Alright, I'm going to start. See, these tongs are great for everything. They do it all. It makes it so you don't get your hands all dirty when you're picking up stuff. It's pretty great. So when this actually reduces, see how it's kind of like it's like a red wine color right now? If this were properly reducing, what the salt, like overnight in a big stock pot, this would reduce all the way down. It's like a really nice, like thick glaze, like brown glaze kind of consistency. I don't think we're going to get there tonight, just because everything else is kind of coming together. And you know when greens have cooked too far? When they're just mush. Every food should have some texture to it, unless it's a custard or something, like that. But everything should have a little bit of a toothsomeness to it. So if you overcook mustard greens, they're just going to turn into just gross, like raw. I don't know, just gross stuff. So they're not even properly cooked just yet. They can definitely take a little bit more time. So you just see, they're just wilting in nicely. It's not, we're not sauteing them, we're not, it's just a very gentle process. And then when these two have cooked together for long enough, we'll just add in the red oak lettuce whole and give that a couple tosses, make sure the vinaigrette coats everything, and then that'll be it. Al dente, the Italians call it, which roughly translates to toothsomeness, like you should have to chew it. It shouldn't just, break apart in your mouth and like. Hey, Nooch. I really should have transferred this to a larger, a wider bottom pan due to surface area. It'll reduce faster, but I'm kind of running out of options. But this will be fine. This will get there. All right. So now that the oven has cooled down considerably, we're just going to keep the chicken warm in there. The oven is probably, I don't know, just under 100 degrees or 170 degrees Fahrenheit. So there's no way that all that heat's gonna go back into our chicken and overcook it. And it'll help kind of like cocoon the chicken in heat and help all those juices stay inside. Alright. And whenever you saute things really hard, I think this might be a better way to show. If I were to have sauteed these really hard, you get a bunch of water kind of collecting at the bottom. See, there's only a little bit here. And that'll be fine. That'll go back kind of and coat the vegetables as soon as we add all that olive oil. To kind of help flavor things. Alright. Needs a bit of salt. Everything else is pretty good. I'm at my parents' house right now, so this is not where I live. So my deal with my parents is I use their cooking or their kitchen for cooking. God, my microphone's falling off. As long as I feed them afterwards. All right. We're getting there. We're getting there. But yeah, so all greens, when they're overcooked, it'll just be mush, absolute mush. All right, so that's they're pretty much there. So we're gonna go red oak lettuces on top. And then we're just going to go vinaigrette right over them. So this is probably enough vinaigrette for everything. If I showed you guys. That's probably enough for everything. But if I need to, I'll just adjust the salt and olive oil levels. The vinegar I think will carry through and be fine. So I don't really want to warm these lettuces through very much because these are really delicate, and they'll break down and get soft way faster than spinach. So I just kind of want to let this hang out. I want the vinaigrette to kind of incorporate into the bottom parts of all of this. All right. All right, the sauce is going to be close enough. So, this is the big moment that we've all been waiting for. And I'm completely forgetting to carve the chicken first. I'm so dumb. I'm so dumb times. All right, let's go chicken. So for this, we're just going to use the breast part. The legs we'll actually eat for dinner. Okay. So I'm using a short small knife just because it's the length of the chicken breast, right? So remember, this is all the rib bones and everything are still in. So you need to find the keel bone just by pressing down. That's gonna be the big hard part. And just cut along the side of it. Just make sure that you cut out all the ribs. All right. One chicken breast. I wish there was a better angle for you guys to see. But basically, if your knife hits something, stop. And then sort of reevaluate what you're cutting, and then keep going. All right. 2 chicken breasts. This can go over here for the dog. At least the meat bits. The dog's not actually going to eat the bones or anything. All right. So then I'm What am I gonna do? I'm just gonna nicely slice this into some pieces. Ooh, it's so warm. Right? So I still want to, we're gonna have a knife and fork for the potatoes and everything too. So I still want people to use a knife and fork to cut their own pieces of chicken, but this just gives it kind of a nicer presentation, I think. All right. So that can kind of live over. Meow. All right. So plating everything. Now, obviously, I'm just going to serve this family style, but plating, especially in a restaurant, is a technique that you kind of learn over time, and it's really important to make your food look nice. I feel like you eat with your eyes first. So if it looks nice, chances are it's going to taste pretty nice. I should really be using a spoon for this little bottom bit, but alright, now I'm going to use, with glazed carrots, I'm going to be using a slotted spoon to plate everything, because you don't want to get a ton of that glaze on the plate. You just want to nicely coat the vegetables, right? So just have a few glazed carrots here and there. Dang, those are good. Potatoes next. Sorry, so loud I know. Alright. And then I'm going to take the entire chicken breast. Just kind of divvy it up between two little areas. Right? Right? Just the sauce. So this will kind of pool at the bottom of the plate after passing over the chicken, and just kind of create like that really nice roasted meat flavor for everything. Alright, so roasted chicken, glazed carrots, roast potatoes, roasted chicken meats with some wilted greens and vinaigrette. This one? Yeah. Alright, make sure to turn everything off. Alright. Not a bad looking little plate of food. That being said, I think we're gonna go eat. Oh, sorry. Anyways, that's it for me. So thanks everybody for sticking around, and yeah, we're gonna go eat. We're gonna go eat all day. I'm really hungry, so I'm gonna eat. I'll see you guys on Monday for a stream, holiday stream. Because of the holidays, I don't know about. Probably Thursday I'll be back, but it's gonna be a little dicey between now and then, because of family in town, and I'm cooking everything for Christmas. So, yeah. If you guys have any questions or comments, or you guys have any ideas about things that we should cook on stream together, message me on Twitch, or talk to me in stream sometime, and we'll get that sorted out. So thank you guys, and I'll get at you later. Also, this will be up on YouTube, and the VOD will be available this evening. So check it out. See you later.